Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A leading up to The Walking Dead Season 7. First, we're going to talk about the premiere date, which is most likely going to be the second Sunday in October, which makes it October 9th this year. Pretty awesome, can't wait. Most hyped season ever. So I would say it is. There still seems to be some controversy about it, and as usual, spoiler warning if you're not caught up on The Walking Dead. Usually it's the second Sunday in October, so you have the first Sunday and then the second, so that would make it the 9th. It's not 100% official yet. Some sites are reporting that it is, other sites are reporting that it isn't, so it seems to be there seems to be some conflicting info out there right now, but most likely it's going to be October 9th. Worst case scenario will be the next weekend, whatever, which would make it the 16th, right? Yeah, the 16th. But ever since season 2 was the third. All the other seasons afterwards, the last 4 years, it's been the second Sunday in October. So most likely that's what we're looking at. So either way, I am really hyped for the season, and the biggest thing, can't wait to find out who it is. In fact, Negan does kill, and being really getting ready for the trailer and stuff. But I know they're going to purposefully mislead us this year, as usual, as they did last year, and as they did with Gareth, as he said, that we'll all go to Washington together and cure this thing, which was not even close to what was in Season 5. It was totally something in the trailer that led us astray. So this year, I'm ready for it. I'm ready in July for when they give us some stuff, that misleading info, about the death and stuff. And I'm sure they're gonna have some good ideas for what to do, and they'll kind of. I think that if I was doing it, this is what I would do. I would keep around the person on set who is killed off anyway. That way people have no idea, and they can't use process of elimination to be like, hey, this person's missing and that person's missing and this person's not in the trailer and that person's not in the trailer. So get ready for some trickery, guys. I think we're gonna see it. That's a pretty much a guarantee. But yeah, it's definitely the most hyped premiere to a season ever, because the Terminus thing was big, but nobody was dead and we didn't know about it. This is the biggest, most hyped, cooked premiere they've ever done, I think, for sure. So, which pissed a lot of people off in the finale, and we'll have a video talking about that with regards to Kirkman's apology for it. So I got that lined up for you guys for tomorrow. But I definitely want to do this one and just go through a few, because I haven't done too many Q&As recently for The Walking Dead itself. We've done a lot on Fear and on Game of Thrones, but not on The Walking Dead original series, Season 7. Next one's from Mick Reilly, and he says, Trev, The Walking Dead Season 7 has been confirmed to premiere on October 9th. Awesome news, so hyped on October. Yeah, me too, man. I can't wait. I love the summer, and I wanted to include that because he's kind of the one that his comment inspired the video. I love the summertime too, because it's so nice outside and stuff. But definitely the winters here in Canada are much better when The Walking Dead is on. I don't the snow doesn't bother me as much when The Walking Dead's on for some reason. I'm just constantly thinking about The Walking Dead. Who's going to be killed off next? This kind of thing. Next one's from Halo God 18, and he says, "What would be the worst ending for the show? I know none will be perfect. Not everyone will be happy on how they end it. But I want to know what you think on what would be the worst ending." So for Halo God. So, for the last episode, I always hate the cop-out, everybody dies. I always hate that. So if they were to kill off everybody and just have, a huge zombie herd come through and have the group get beaten down opposite of No Way Out and have the zombies win, that would be probably the worst ending ever for The Walking Dead. I think that would just drive me mental if they did that at the end, if Kirkman decided to do that. Because, and I know he won't, because I'm sure we're like-minded in this way. He has said on many occasions in many interviews that he wanted to create the zombie movie that doesn't end, after an hour and a half or whatever. And that's what he's done. And that would be the worst ending ever. I guarantee you he would not do that. If he did that, it would just be, that would be the worst ending possible. But the other possibility, I think, is if everybody just lives happily ever after. And that's kind of the ending. My favorite ending is where Rick dies, but he's content with his life because he knows that what he's done changes the course of humanity and gets people going in the right direction, and that community that he creates is the one that generally is going to out-survive the zombies and rebuild civilization. So I think that's why we follow Rick, and why And that would be my perfect end for me. And you could have Carl go on afterwards if you want to do a spin-off series and stuff like that. That'd be cool, unless they do it all within the same name. But for that, it might be a good idea to like end the first part and then have a running comic book after that called, Walking Dead, Risen or something, or Undead or something. Like Rick dies and then you have Carl and he's the main protagonist after that. That'd be great. I think they should do that, unless they do it all under the same banner and have it still be The Walking Dead. Nothing added on, and it's still part of the same series. So we'll see what happens with that in the long term and how long Kirkman actually does write it for. Hopefully it's for life. We'll see. Next one is from TheriseofJackSaffery, and he says, "Hey Trev, I'm a big fan of your videos and keep up the great work. I just had a bit of a realization now because even though," this is a funny one, he says, "even though this doesn't relate to the Walking Dead TV show or comic, it relates to you." He says, basically, in the season 6 finale, Rick has the realization that he and his group is fucked. However, this kind of relates to you now, as you realize you are also... Yeah, he uses the word. I got a little emotional reading this one. He says, "As you do not have a certain response of who gets lucilled by Negan. So like Rick always being in control of the situation and now lost it, you have lost control of the situation." With all the Negan kills theories, as you do not have a certain answer for it, even though you think Glenn is the one who's going to die. I just want to say I do not mean any offense by this comment, but this leads me to finally ask, who would you get the most upset about if they had died or if they're killed? I asked this because it might relate to who Rick would get upset about. I do know this is a stupid suggestion and question. I'm just looking for an emotional. I don't think it's stupid. I think it's funny. I like your theory and funny. And I did feel a little bit of that too, loss of control a little bit, because it's like, I know you guys come to the channel and you have done so for 6 years, a lot of you, to kind of hear what I think is going to happen next, even more so than the reviews. Like that's something that, when I first started the channel, I started doing Walking Dead reviews first, and I used to do predictions for mixed martial arts and who I think would win fights. So I used to do, like, if certain, let's say Alistair Overeem is fighting Ben Rothwell or something, which was a fight that happened, I think it was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I don't really do them anymore because UFC hates my channel if I do that. They screw up the channel and strike it and all kinds of shit. So I stopped doing it, but I used to do that and kind of talk about who I think would win the next competition, right? And based on their skills and this kind of thing. And then it dawned on me one day, I'm like, why don't I just do that for TV shows too? I love The Walking Dead. I'll talk about who I think is going to be killed off next and this kind of deal. And the response was immense. People like that even more than they like to hear my reviews of who I think is who's going to be killed off next, this kind of thing. So I understand what you're saying, and that's something I have to deal with. Is that you can't, like, when you're doing predictions videos, you can be totally wrong, totally incorrect, and everything can seem right. If you'd asked me, Trev, who's going to win, Alistair Overeem or Ben Rothwell, and you look at the things, you're like, okay, Alistair Overeem, champion, world champion in kickboxing, all this kind of thing, and better record, better skills. It seems to be stronger, seems to be tougher, this kind of thing. And then you got Ben Rothwell, who's like this big guy who's like a slugger and has a worse record, has lost lots of fights, and it doesn't seem to be, if you're doing the expectancy there, this is actual math, you want to talk probability and expectancy, you're going to bet on Alistair Overeem. And on that fight, guess who won? Rothwell knocked him out. So you got to be comfortable and understand that if you're going to do predictions, you can't know everything. You can try to base it on something that makes sense. And as you're watching it, what I do is I usually go through and I think, okay, how would I write this and how would this go and what makes the most sense for the situation? But you can always be totally wrong. You can always think that Alistair's going to win, and then, Ben Rothwell ends up knocking his ass out brutally. So you never know, and that's something that you have to be okay with. You can't control the future, and you're going to give your best guess, and you may be right more than you're wrong, or maybe not. But that's kind of something that's just kind of the way it is. But you're right that I definitely did feel a little bit annoyed because I knew people right after it, and I even did this in a video, like, I'm going to have to be answering this all summer, because but there's no way I can say concretely for you guys. As much as it looks like it's Glenn, and I could say, okay, it's probably Glenn, I can be totally wrong, and it could not be, because it's not confirmed. He's got other projects and other things he's working on, and everything seems to point to him, even the leaked audio and that, which some people think is fake, a lot of people think is real. So, you can argue with that, but there's no way you can say for sure. And there's no way we'll know 100% confirmed until we actually see the premiere episode and the character's killed off. And even sometimes a few episodes after that, like Game of Thrones, where they bring Jon Snow back when he's already dead. Yeah, so even then, it's TV, it's what it is, it's fictional. So, and even in the real world, you still can't predict, what you think is going to happen. But it's fun to try, and it's fun to do it. And you gotta have some balls. You gotta be okay. If you're wrong, then you're wrong. That's it. So I thought that was a great question. I laughed, and I definitely read it when you used the word "you." I pictured you pointing at me. That's a you. It's like, what was it about me? Oh my goodness. Next one's from Zazman Reviews. He says, "Hey Trev, I have a question for the normal Walking Dead TV show." It's like so weird now. He's like, the normal Walking Dead. It's like, yeah. Yeah, I get what he's saying, though. My question is, how do you want the kingdom to be introduced? And I think it'd be cool if, Carol's like carried in there and Morgan's all upset and stuff. And then you see Ezekiel and they help them out. And then you meet Ezekiel and he introduces them. And he's got his tiger and everything. And just like the comics, he's got a big tiger and Shiva. And she's nice and cute and stuff. And she comes over and Morgan's like, tiger, and he's like, "Don't worry, my friend," or he like pulls out his stick or something. He's like, and then Ezekiel's like, "Don't worry, my friend. It's just my tiger. She's nice. Don't worry, she won't hurt you." This kind of something like that. That'd be fun. Next one's from CarlMan23. He says, "Hey Trev, you have the best Walking Dead channel out there. I have a question for the Q&A. Could you do a top 10 characters from The Walking Dead who have been killed off? That would be awesome. Thanks." I will do that. So top 10. I've done stuff like that in the past before, but over the years it makes sense to update it. So maybe top 10 best deaths, or my top 10 most emotional deaths is another one, or top 10 least favorite deaths. These kind of videos are all cool. Each one is kind of, you have to take it differently, because and it's also a weird topic, like what are the best deaths? Like how can you have a good death? And I guess something that would just progress the story and get an emotional response from the viewer and not ruin the story at the same time. Like if you were to kill Rick off this season or something, it could be a very bad death, because then people may not want to watch because he's their favorite character. All these things taken into consideration. And I'll do a couple more. Next one's from Miss Dino1. And she says, there's a new show on CW called Containment, which is pretty good. I think it started around April 19th. It's about a flu seeking through Atlanta, killing people. I know you're a zombie fan like me, but it would be interesting to see what you think about this show. And I have reviewed shows kind of, I don't know if it's similar, but Helix I did a review for a few episodes of that. I thought it was pretty good to start. I don't know if it's still on now. But I'll tell you, I'll check out Containment. I'll let you know. Of course, I'm watching Gotham right now, and, there's lots of shows I watch. Last Man on Earth was fun. I don't always review every show I watch, so it's fun. And last one will be from Michael McMahon. He says, "When in episode 1 we find out who died, will it happen in the first 15 minutes of the episode or the last 15 minutes? Also, what will we see in the first episode? What else will we see happen in the first episode?" So based on filming, because they've already filmed it, I think it's going to be right at the beginning. It'll probably be maybe in the intro or right after the intro, like a setup before the intro, and then they play the intro, and then boom, you see who it is. And then after that, it'll probably just be mostly the group dealing with the repercussions of that, heading to the hilltop, getting Maggie checked, and everybody crying and being all emotional, this kind of thing. And then going back to Alexandria, and maybe in the latter half of the episode, having Negan come to visit. Hopefully it'll be an extended episode, and it'll be really, really good. So, yeah, man. So, I can't wait till October, as usual. At least we got Game of Thrones. We got Fear the Walking Dead to tide us over until then. And I'm going to check out Preacher and Ride with Norman Reedus and Mr. Robot's one of my favorite shows on television last while. So, lots of stuff coming up in the summer, guys. And, I'll be doing reviews for lots of different stuff. The Strain is back again. So, that's something I could check. I just got like an intro flash in my mind back again. So, Strain back in. All right, what's going on, guys? Strain back again here to bring you another episode. I don't know. Anyway, okay, it's time to wrap it up. That's it for this video today, guys. If you liked it, you can please thumb it up below. You can also share and favorite. If you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one today. I'll see you guys again for another one tomorrow. So, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. See you guys.